I'm going to show you exactly what I have in my medicine cabinet as a holistic wife, mom, and homemaker. This is a space that I've needed to organize for a while, and I thought what better opportunity than to record myself showing myself organizing this so you can see what I use for what. Before we get started, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel for more health and homesteading content. So let's get started. I am 2 weeks till my due date, and this is all part of my nesting mentality. Really a necessary thing that needs to happen here. And what's happened is it's just collected stuff over time. So there are things that need to stay, there's things that need to move. I have another closet of like back stock of like extra vitamins and extra medicine and things like that. And so I've taken out things that I need to place in here. And then I have a whole nother section that if I have space for, I'm going to organize that as well. So let's see what I've got in here. We're going to start think on this side because this is where I really have the least amount of stuff. Baking soda to keep things fresh and to clean, but I really don't need that in here. And I do have a box that I'm going to use to put all of my stuff in that I don't need in here. So that way I can move it out and organize that stuff later. Ovulation tests. This is great for fertility. I'll go into that another time about um, how to help your food to fertility, boost your fertility if you're trying to have kids. Silver. There's so many benefits to silver. Hydrosol silver, you might see it labeled as, but silver is basically antibacterial, antiviral, anti-everything. You can use it to treat pink eye. You can use it to disinfect things. My daughter just had a cold sore on her lip and we used it for that. But this is some extra silver that I don't need in here. Astragalus, this is a great herb for immune support. I'm going to put it in back stock. Wild yam. I love my tinctures, and I've got a bunch of tinctures for hormonal support. Wild yam is an excellent source for progesterone. So we'll get into fertility and hormones at another time, but it's important to know where your hormones are at, and if you're low and you don't want to take pharmaceuticals, wild yam. Charcoal. This is one of my go-to binders, but I have another binder that I use consisting of fulvic acid. Binders are important for basically when you consume toxic junk. The purpose of binders is to literally bind to those things and flush it out of your system. This is one of my favorite cough syrups. It's Bronchia Calm. It's a wild cherry bark, mullein, and catnip infusion. It's almost out, and I need to put it somewhere else. I'm not sure how I'm going to organize it yet, so I'm going to set that to the side. All right, now this might not be very exciting to the gentleman out there, but I'm about to have a baby, and so I have to have these special pads ready to go. And I think next to the toilet would be ideal. And I'm going to reorganize and stuff those in there. All right, so we've got one spot here that is all set. And actually, I might put the witch hazel in with this section. Witch hazel is a great disinfectant. You can use it as a toner for your face. It can also be used for hemorrhoids. Not a fun, sexy topic, but it's just is what it is. So I think I'm going to put that in there and then leave a spot for some toilet paper. All right, now here's the real nitty gritty, you guys. I've got all these tinctures, and this is what I really need to go through. So let's dive in and see what I've got. This is a face mask. It needs to go into like a face pile. All right, let's see our tinctures. We've got immune support, brain boost, and just FYI, the reason why I love tinctures is because basically they've got an infinite shelf life. I mean, they're usually alcohol based or glycerin based, and they last pretty much forever. I'm sure they do have technically um, a shelf life, but it's impossible. These have collected dust. I'm just going to keep these out and I'm going to start organizing all of my tinctures based on what I use them for. And then, of course, essential oils too. So I've got some things that are empty that I need to clean out. Adrenal cortex extract sublingual tincture. I honestly can't remember why I bought this, but it's for adrenals, and we don't realize how important adrenal support is. Stress, blue light, the hustle and grind of the life that we live currently will strain your adrenals, which means straining your hormones. You can get fatigued and a number of other symptoms just because of your adrenal glands not functioning. So this is going to go in the brain pile. This is a pine tincture, and I honestly, I don't know why I got into this. This will happen when you start getting into tinctures. It says it's great for wound healing, and it's called the third eye pinon pine. And it reminds me of the pineal gland that we have in the very center that's also responsible for hormone support and is known as the third eye. I'm going to keep that with the brain section. Pitcher plant extract. I got this because this is one of the only herbal remedies for smallpox. We'll put this in its own spot. Bunch of floss that I don't like. I'm gonna move that out. Kind of there just for like worst case scenario if I run out of floss. Mouth tape. Really, I don't need the mouth tape. My daughter needs the mouth tape. We'll keep this, but just put it in another place. Extra toothpaste can go in another place. Extra tubes, we'll find a place for that. All right, oregano oil. This is great topically um, for anything that needs some antifungal, antibacterial assistance. And I'm going to set that in its own thing. Plantain herbal oil. This is really good for rashes, bug bites, stings, basically any irritation on the skin. This is going to help. I'll put that with the oregano oil. We've got another essential oil. False unicorn. This is for preconception, preventing miscarriages. Um, so that can go in another spot. Calendula oil, similar to plantain, but very soothing to the skin. Also good for rashes and things like that. I kind of use plantain and calendula interchangeably. Got another allergy relief here. When we were in New Orleans, my husband had terrible allergies. We lived in a mold infested home and just a mold centric city, even just being in the swamps. And so I'm going to keep these on hand for allergy relief just in case. This is my daughter's favorite, these sinus and respiratory drops. It's great because it also boosts the immune system and it's sweet. It's made of vegetable glycerin and it's got elderberry, stinging nettle, sweet orange, and anise. Stinging nettle is like the all-time go-to for allergy support, but elderberry is also boosting the immune system. So I'm going to keep that in the allergy group. Red clover is for hormones. That's for estrogen. Don't need that. I have some lobelia here. I honestly can't remember why I have it. I'm going to keep it because I feel like I might need it, but I can't remember what I need it for. Shasta tree, also known as the vitex tree. It's a native plant and it is great for general hormonal health, just general balancing of hormones. And this is not something that I'm going to need for a minute. So I'm going to put this with the other hormone stuff. Pneumo drops. This is a homeopathic therapy mixed with water, not tincture. But I'll keep this, I think, in perhaps the immune section. Sesame seed oil capsules. This is my favorite company of vitamins and supplements, by the way. Standard process is highly recommended by the Weston A. Price Foundation. Sesame seed oil is great for blood health, but it's also good if you're congested with anything in the chest as it loosens up that mucus. Congaplex is your immune booster anytime you get sick. Keep that with the sick stuff. Nail fungus oil. This is really meant as a complement to healing your gut. Everything comes through the gut, but topically you can use this. I'll put it with the other oils. Liquid chlorophyll. This is a binder that I don't use. Placenta release tincture. I was given this and I honestly just don't think I'm going to use it because your placenta is going to come out anyways. This would be like an emergency situation. This is an after ease for pregnancy. It's got cramp bark, black haw bark, yarrow, and motherwort. It's basically to help with reducing anxiety. I'll keep this for a little bit. Dong Quai is general hormonal support. It can work really nicely with red clover and will help with fertility. Essential oils, more mouth tape. This is a good night tincture. This is actually one of my favorite new companies. It's called Birth Song Botanicals. And they've just got beautiful blends of things that are both alcohol-free or with alcohol. We'll use that. Remineralizing tooth putty. This stuff is gold. If you have any tooth decay, any cavities forming, it's so much about diet. You can remineralize your teeth from the inside out, but tooth putty like this with things like hydroxyapatite and coconut oil are going to really help actually remineralize the enamel on your teeth. That's just an extra one. Gentian Violet. I ordered this recently to have on hand for baby in case baby gets a case of thrush, which is a yeast infection in the mouth. And this can be used topically inside the mouth. Rust Tox is one of my favorite homeotherapies. It's good for poison ivy, muscle and joint pain, eczema, sprains, cough, flu, inflammation. You can use it for a number of things. And I actually have a kit here of a bunch of different homeopathy medicine. And we could do a whole video on this and how to use it. But essentially, it's no different than any other medicine. It's concentrated plant medicine. And you take it in the very beginning of the onset of symptoms in order for your body to have the best defense in learning how to attack it naturally. So you only take it in the very beginning stages of whatever it is that you're feeling. Mullein tincture. Mullein tincture is one of my favorites for respiratory health. When you're getting any sort of congestion or mucus, Mullein's role is to drain the lymphatic system and loosen up mucus so that way everything clears out. I don't know which section to put that in. Maybe the inhale, the respiratory section. Deep sleep. We usually have a section of sleep stuff. I'll put that there. I've got some extra bottles of things. Another postpartum support tincture. That's similar to the one that we looked at before, but this has got a lot more stuff in it compared to like this after ease tincture. So I think maybe I'll even put the after ease tincture to the side and just keep one of these postpartum support tinctures in here. Same thing for milk, for breastfeeding. I've got a stomach soother here. And then I've got more tinctures in this other basket. So motherwort, great for anxiety, but can be addictive in nature, and less effective. So you want to take it just as needed. Valerian, great for sleep, but also can lose efficacy if you keep taking it. Um, Not quite sure where to put my motherwort. I'm just gonna maybe put it with the brain stuff, I think. I've got a Malaine garlic oil. This is for ears. And I think I'm going to put this with my other oils like oregano and calendula. They're basically ear drops. Deep sleep that I need to get rid of. Maca is an excellent tincture for testosterone support. I need to get rid of that, get a new bottle. Got a bunch of empty bottles in here. Lilac tinctures, I honestly don't know what these are for. That just happens. I'm going to just keep one. I've got a bunch of glycerites, which is just another type of tincture. These are alcohol free and they're sweet. And I have these for my daughter because she doesn't like the alcohol-based tinctures. And it's not even that much alcohol that would be any effect to her. But if we ever needed to give her one of those that are alcohol based, you would do like a few drops in a little bit of water. But she likes to take the glycerites that are just straight sweetness. We've got a phenylglycerate, which is great for digestion and assists with lactation. I'm going to put that into the tummy section. Chamomile is great for calming nerves and anxiety. Also supports the digestion. I'll put that kind of in there. And rose is great for uplifting the heart. It's excellent for easing grief, trauma, loss, and anxiety. We'll just put that with that same group. And then I've got a bunch of CBD. So let's talk CBD. CBD is one of my favorite medicines for calming the nervous system. Um, it can also help with headaches and migraines, and there's different types. So I've got a THC-free distillate. That's going to go with the anxiety and nerves pile. I've got CBG, which is actually really good for skin. I use this topically. I'll put it with my skin stuff. And then I've got 2 bottles of CBN, which is a strain that specifically helps with nighttime anxiety. So I'll put that with the sleep stuff. Now I've got to figure out how to organize these things. I have an idea. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just these pieces of cardboard and use them to make little dividers. And it's not going to be the prettiest thing, but it's going to be effective, I think, at organizing all of my tinctures. So, uh, there's mold in there. That's the pits. That is the absolute pits. Can't keep that basket at all. It's such a beautiful basket, and there is mold. I'm gonna have to get rid of it. Mold is not something that you want to mess with. Maybe I have another basket I can use. Let's see. That one is going out. All right, this is like the first aid kit here. Let's show you what I've got in here. Genexa is one of my favorite clean over-the-counter companies for medicine. They don't use any dyes. A lot of it is homeopathy. This one in particular is an antacid. It's just calcium carbonate. And the rest of the ingredients are organic. My husband's random coin collection. Bandaids. Got lots of Bandaids. Some more medicine by Genexa for allergy care and also the flu. Iodine is one of my favorite things to use on deep wounds or cuts. This is a CBD roller that's really nice topically for sore muscles. I could probably put this somewhere else. Arnica gel is also great for sore muscles. ASEA is kind of what we do for like minor cuts and scrapes. It is a revitalizing retox gel, and it basically uses cellular regeneration. It's pretty cool stuff. I highly recommend you look into this. Basic pain reliever, acetaminophen. We've got a couple thermometers. These are paraffin ear candling, like wax for getting wax out of your ear. And basically, after I got these, we discovered that they're total nonsense. When you light them and you use them and you unwrap it, what you're looking at is curdled wax, basically, from the candle, not from your ear. And it's made from paraffin, which is a petroleum byproduct. So there's way more effective ways of cleaning out your ears if they're stuck, like, for example, hydrogen peroxide or alcohol. Now I'm going into the side cabinet over here. This is my husband's travel case. He likes to have everything there. So perhaps I'll keep that separate for him along with his coins. So in the medicinal cabinet, I'm going to put my hydrogen peroxide, my alcohol, my silver, Bandaids, iodine, and then the antacids and these other little guys that are important. I've got a whole bunch of castor oil. Castor oil is so great. I use it for hair growth. I use it for detoxing over my liver with castor oil packs. And I just collected a bunch of castor oil. So I'm just going to keep all of those together, I think, along with jojoba oil, things that I'll mix like with my essential oils. Hey, babe. How's it going? Couple of questions. These are your coins, your like grandfather's coins. Um, do you use either of these colognes anymore? Do you want these?
Yours.
Okay, well, I'm fine with getting rid of these if you don't want these.
What are they?
This one we got from somebody. I don't know what to think of that. And this one is filled with artificial fragrance.
Oh, well, we can't have that.
So I don't know.
Oh,
Okay. Do you want to keep these, the little sticker thing?
y'all used them. Why wouldn't you keep them? No sense.
I've got your razor thing in there.
Oh, I'll never find anything now.
You're gonna have your own shelf.
I'll never find anything.
It's real simple. I've got everything so organized.
And remember, this stuff is boring. It's all about your personality.
Okay. Do you use these? Have you used these in a while? They've
Uh,
expired. This one's expired.
if it's not expired, why would you toss it?
Well, this one is 11 of 2024.
It's
So,
expired.
all right, so I'll put these things in here. Look how nice that is.
Wonderful. How much did you throw away without my knowledge?
It's just this pile.
Yeah, what's in there that I might use?
I don't think anything. Most of it's just empty bottles. Most of the stuff is getting stored. I suppose you won't use these, huh? You don't
What was
like.
that stuff?
This was the shampoo and conditioner I got you that was a little bit less non-toxic.
I put them up there. If I'd have known I'd use those. Perfect.
Is that good?
Excellent.
All right. This right here in the spice jar is my dry shampoo. And it is literally just half and half cornstarch and carob powder. And it works. It works great for the days that you don't want to wash your hair. And I really don't like this scent. It just smells like old toys, old plastic toys. I'm going to get rid of that. All right, everything is cleaned up. It feels really nice in here. I've got so much space. I feel like this is just one of those exercises where you do it and you realize how much clutter you have that doesn't need to be there. Like I've got extra space to put things in places. I don't even know where to put or what to put in all this extra space because there's so much extra space. I think maybe I'll switch this over to the skincare side. But this feels wonderful. This is really amazing. Gosh, there's so much potential. There's so many ways that I can move things around. So much space.
Wow.
I know, I can't wait to show you. So I hope that this has inspired you to clean out spaces like your bathroom medicine cabinet as well, and learn some of the little medicines that I like to have on hand in my first aid cabinet. Medicine is one of those things where you could go down the rabbit hole and get tons of essential oils, tons of homeopathy, tons of things. But the truth is that it can be pretty simple. And you can get things kind of as you need them if they're super specific. But there's a lot of things that take care of a broad spectrum of things. Thank you for watching this video and hanging out with me while I cleaned out my bathroom and reviewed all the items in my first aid kit. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel for more health, homesteading, and homemaking content.